Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I did a trial makeup application on my aunt for her 50th birthday. So let's get right into it. First, I'm starting off with some micellar water on a cotton round to just take out any excess makeup, any debris, any dead skin, and just exfoliate the top surface of her skin. Then I'm also going in with a toner just to do the same thing and just remove any external impurities before I start moisturizing and applying anything on her skin. And I'm also taking it down to her neck and her chest because we are going to apply some foundation on her neck. Then I'm going straight into shade matching, and she will be wearing a low corset dress, so I want to make sure everything is all cohesive. So I'm working with her chest and her neck to get the right shade match and undertone. The foundation I used was the NARS Natural Radiant Foundation, and I also used the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. So I mixed them to find the right shade. I believed she was like Tahoe or Aruba, but I also mixed a little bit of the blue color correcting pigment inside to get her shade as well. Then I'm moving on to her brows, and I'm filling them in with the Maybelline Express Brow Pencil in the shade Black Brown, I believe. And she has a nice shape already. She just has some small sparse areas, so I'm just working on filling in the tiny areas that she's missing. And then I'm focusing on the front and filling in the parts that come closer together towards her nose contour. Then I'm carving her eyebrows out with concealer, and I'm using an old Morphe brush to do this. I'm taking my time, and I'm also using a darker shade that is closer to her skin tone instead of a lighter one. Then I'm using that same shade and just applying it all over her lid on the upper part and blending that out. Then I'm applying a lighter shade on the lower part of her lid and blending that out. And these are all brushes from Amazon, Morphe, and some old ones from BH Cosmetics. And there's also some new Morphe brushes in here. So I'm using the new M333 brush to apply some translucent powder to set that concealer on her lid. And then I just brought you in a little closer to see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to use the Warrior palette from Juvias Place to pack in a light nude brow bone shade into her brow bone. And then I'm going in with a ColourPop palette called the Great Outdoors palette, and I'm using a warm brown shade to start building up some color in her crease. This is going to be my transition shade. So I'm starting that on the outer corner, and then I'm just building it up to get that color payout that I'm looking for. I'm not taking it too high up to the brow, but I'm taking it high enough because I will be making this kind of smoky. So the darker shades, I'm going to bring it closer and closer to the lash line. So here I'm just winging it out a little bit, and I'm lifting her eyebrow with my left thumb to kind of open up her eyes a little bit more, because we are working with mature skin here. Then I'm repeating this on the other side, and I'm just taking what's left on the brush to kind of buff out the edges. And then I'm going in with the Warrior 2 palette, and I'm using a darker brown shade, and I'm just adding that into the crease and keeping it below the first shade, but still smoking it out. Here we took a little wine break, a little Bartenura break. That's her favorite. It's a very non-serious makeup application. It was just for fun. This is about a month before her party, so we really wanted to take the time to make sure everything was perfect. At least I did. Here I'm just doing the same thing on the other side. I'm adding the darker brown shade from the Warrior 2 palette into her crease. And I'm just focusing that on the outer V, but not taking it above to the first shade. Then I'm going back in with the first shade's brush, and I'm just blending the edge of the second shade to just make sure everything is all seamless and there's no harsh lines. And if you can see, I'm taking a really light hand with that. Then I'm going in with another brush, and I'm adding a darker brown shade onto the outer V of her eye. And I'm really concentrating that on the outer part of her eye, and I'm not taking that in. Then I'm going in with the same first brush and transition shade, and I'm blending the two together, just making sure everything is seamless. I'm actually adding a little bit color of the transition shade into the crease. Here, I'm just concentrating the color to make sure it's showing through on top of the second color. But as you can see, I'm still focusing it on the outer part of the eye and not taking it inward. Then I'm going in with another darker shade, so it's going to be the fourth shade from the Warrior 2 palette, and I'm focusing that as well on the outer crease. It's a little more cool toned, but it's just bringing the dimension I need to bring some more smokiness to the eye, but still keeping it semi-neutral, that if she wanted to wear silver or gold, it could work. But we are going for a silver look here. Then I'm going back in with the first shade and the first brush and making sure everything is all seamless again. Then I'm going to do a semi-cut crease, but not a really sharp one. I'm going to add some concealer and carve out a half moon shape, you could say, but not too sharp because I don't want it to be a distinct cut crease, but we do want some concealer to make the eyeshadow pop. So once I apply a little bit of concealer and I tap it out, then I perfect the shape. That's looking good. Then I'm going on top of that with a silver eyeshadow from this MAC palette that I have. I'm really packing it in and setting that concealer with the shade. I'm using a Morphe eyeshadow brush from the new eye brush set I got. And I'm really packing the silver shade in. Then I'm using the second brown shade to blend the two where they meet. And I'm really taking my time and just tapping that in and just making sure there's no harsh line where the silver and brown meet. Then I'm going in with the first brush again and lightly blending the entire crease just to ensure where the silver and the first shade on the inner part of the crease doesn't have any harsh lines. Don't mind us, we were just chopping it up the whole time, catching up on old times, things that haven't been said. We rarely spend enough time talking about things other than the party lately. Then I'm going in with this Urban Decay single eyeshadow Moon Dust, and I'm just topping off the lid with that for a little extra shine, extra shimmer, extra bling. Then I'm adding some tape because I'm going to add a little extra dimension by adding some dark brown, almost black. And we're kind of doing like a kind of smoky cat eye with it for the moment. And I'm repeating that on the other eye. I've only started using this tape method this year, and I find it's been helping speed up my application and help with precision. So I think I will continue using this method. Then I'm going to go in with some black and add a little bit of extra dimension because she will be having a night birthday event. So I really want her eyeshadow to pop. And she does too. So here I'm just ensuring that I'm not taking the black above where her crease folds. So we kind of want to keep it where the eyeliner would go, because I am going to do a wing liner as well. I'm really taking my time and making sure there's no harsh line with this, because black can easily look muddy. So you really want to just take your time and start in small areas and really use a light hand. So I did keep this tutorial as much as I could regular. Then I'm going in with the first brush and just ensuring everything is blended well. You always have to go back and forth with your brushes and making sure everything's seamless. And then when you go in with the first brush, then you end up having to reapply the other shades because sometimes blending takes away other shades. Then I'm going in with the e.l.f. retractable eyeliner and I'm tightlining her upper lash line. So a little tip you can do for your clients is have them look the opposite way and look down while lifting their eyelid, and it helps them not tear up. So you see I have her looking down and you don't get in their eye. Then I'm adding the eyeliner on her lower lash line as well. I just started using this eyeliner and I really like it. I am looking for something a little more creamy, but I do like how budge proof this is. So another tip, have them look upwards. And let's say you're going on the left side, you have them look up to the left. And if you were going on the right side, you have them look up and to the right. Then I'm taking some black eyeshadow and I'm smoking out the lower lash line. And then I'm going to use some brown on top of that to smoke out the black. I don't usually do the lower lash line first, but I'm trying a different method here and seeing how it goes. This brush is from the new Morphe eye brush set as well. I think I'm using a third brown shade here to blend out the lower lash line. So I used the black, the dark brown, and then I used the transition shade. And then I'm going back in with the black a little bit. Then I'm using the NYX glitter glue to prime the lids for some glitter. And I'm going to use the silver glitter. I was going to mix a little bit of the iridescent inside, but I ended up just using silver because it had like a kind of small iridescent reflective look to it. So we added that in all over the lid. I didn't pack it too much but I scattered it enough that you could see it twinkle on her eye. She wanted glitter shimmer glam, but she didn't want it to be too much either. It's easy to over apply glitter, so I'm really taking my time and scattering it. Then I'm using a winged liner brush and I'm adding the Inglot gel liner to create a cat eye. I'm starting at the end and where her crease folds. That's where I start and I don't take it above it. And the tape is perfect to ensure I don't pass where her eye crease ends. So I'm just taking my time and going back and forth and ensuring I have a nice straight line. Following the tape here and bringing it down to her lower lash line. I'm trying to keep it really thin because she does not have that much lid space. I really like the Inglot gel liner because it doesn't budge after you use it. It doesn't budge after you apply it. So I'm taking the eyeliner all the way to the inner corner as well. And I have her look up to the right so that I could apply the inner corner eyeliner. Every stroke, I pull back and I let her blink so that she doesn't blink while I'm applying. Again, look up to the left, and then I'm applying the inner corner. I honestly feel I take the longest with eyeliner because I'm such a perfectionist. But I really advise taking your time because this is not something you could really go back from. Carving out the edges, yes, but on the top part where it meets the eyeshadow, you can't. Then I'm taking a little bit of black eyeshadow and I'm going over the eyeliner and just giving it a little smoky effect. And I'm adding some of the black on the outer corner again. Then the most satisfying part, we remove the tape. I'm letting her check out the eyes and ensure that she likes it the way it is. If you want to add anything, take away, just a quick, She's saying she likes it so far. We're talking about lashes at this point. We're trying different ones on, seeing which one suits her best. We tried 3 or 4 different lashes and she said she liked this one. So I started cleaning up the fallout, the eyeshadow fallout on her face and started cleaning up under the wing and prepping for foundation. Then I'm moisturizing her lips really quickly. Here we're applying her lashes. I really love the lashes that we chose. They're from Amazon. I'll link them in the description box if you're interested. Then I started priming her face. I believe I used the Embryolisse moisturizer. Or the e.l.f. Thirst Burst drops. And I'm really massaging the moisturizer into her face and her neck and chest. The eyes are looking so good. So I'm asking her about her problem areas, that she wants to ensure she covers and where she gets mostly oily or dry. And she gave me, a list. So I'm covering up her spots first. Any dark spots, any hyperpigmentation. I'm using a little bit to cover around her mouth and under her eyes a little bit. I'm not using a really orange one. I'm using a more olive toned, lighter shade just to make sure it's not too orange. So I'm just spot concealing those areas and then I'm blending it out, taking my time with this, ensuring I get every dark mark because this first layer is what really helps make a flawless finish. Because you're doing the underpainting work with the concealer. Then I'm going in with her foundation, and like I said, it's a mixture of the NARS Longwear Radiant Foundation and the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation, also with some blue color correcting pigment to get her shade. I tried my best to color match her. She does have a unique undertone, so I went in with a brush and applied everything, and then blending it out with a Paw Beauty Blender. I actually really like the shade. So I'm leaving everything in a semi-real time for you to see, so you guys could see my makeup application in kind of real time. So enjoy me applying foundation and blending it out, and I'll be back once we get into the next step. Then I'm going in with some concealer here, and I'm going to highlight her under eye. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Concealer in the shade Cashew. It has a really nice neutral undertone, and it dries down really quickly, so I am blending that out right away. I'm having her tilt her head down and look at the ceiling so that I can get in that under eye crevice a lot better. One thing I will say, for the party, we ended up changing the concealer to the Born This Way concealer, but this concealer did look really good for this video. So I'm going in with this other sponge. It's the Juvias Place Precision Sponge, just to get into those smaller crevices. And here I'm just cutting and carving under the cat eye. And now I'm going to set the under eye with some loose setting powder. And this is the Mercier Translucent Honey Setting Powder. And I'm taking my time and really patting that in. I'm not trying to over powder her. So I tapped the excess into my hand and then started setting her under eye. Look how flawless her under eye looks. You cannot go wrong with the Laura Mercier setting powder. I do like the Huda one, but I really love Laura Mercier for my clients because Huda can sometimes be a little bit drying for some people, especially mature skin, and I feel like Laura Mercier works for all skin types. So since the concealer dries down so fast, now I'm applying it to the other highlight points of her face, which are her chin, above her lip, and her nose contour, and her forehead. I probably shouldn't have set the under eye already, but honestly, it dries down so fast, I didn't want to risk any kind of breakage or creasing. So we're just going to do it like this. Like I said, this is why I ended up switching up the concealer, because I felt for her mature skin, it wasn't exactly the vibe, but it did work. It was very, very matte and it stayed put. It didn't move. So it's very long wearing and full coverage, which I like that. But the Born This Way concealer was definitely better for her skin type. But honestly, look how gorgeous this concealer is coming out. It's literally the perfect undertone for her highlight. Then I'm setting those areas with translucent powder as well on a powder puff. With what's left on the brush, I'm setting the rest of the face. The puff. Now I'm going to bring some dimension back into her face and set the rest of the face with this MAC Studio Fix setting powder. This is in the shade NC47. It's a perfect olive, warm, neutral shade that works great as a bronzer or contour for her skin tone. Then I'm also using it to contour her nose. Once again, I'm leaving all of this in real time so you can see my entire process and how I do glam. So I will see you in the next step. I just like to make sure by lowering the brightness that I didn't over darken it or it's not overly light, and it just passed the test. So now I'm just contouring all the other places I haven't done yet. And I'm dusting away any loose powder left under the eye with that same brush that has a little bit of the leftover Studio Fix powder on it. Something about it just, makes the under eye look so nice. Then I'm going in with highlighter, and I'm adding that to the high points of her cheeks. I'm using a small brush to add to the point of her nose and the bridge of her nose. Her cupid's bow. Oh, this is the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter, by the way. Then the inner corner of her eye, her brow bone. Then I'm going in with the Juvias Place Volume 4 blush with the Real Techniques brush. And I'm applying it to the high points of her cheek. I'm trying to keep it lifted, as everyone's doing these days. It's easy to overapply this blush, which I just did, kinda. So I'm wiping the excess into a tissue and then blending it out. Then I'm going back in with all the shades I used on her lower lash line and just reinforcing the shades that may have disappeared a little bit while doing the under eye. So for her lips, she wasn't sure if she wanted to do a red lip for the event or a neutral lip. She also is doing 2 outfits. She's having a cocktail hour and then her main event. So she's doing one dress for her cocktail hour and then a second dress for her main event. So we were also thinking maybe the red lip for the first event, a red lip for the first outfit and then neutral lip for the next. And obviously I'm her makeup artist, so I can change that for her on scene. So I actually forgot my red lipstick, which is kind of crazy because I usually always have a red on me, but I forgot my lip palette and the single 2 red lipsticks I usually use because my last client before her was just going for neutrals, so I just brought all my neutrals. So, and until we discussed this, then we came down to the fact that she was thinking about red. So I did start with this dark red lip liner to still kind of give her the picture of what a red lip would look like with the look. I lined her lips with a dark red to bring dimension because you can't really go in with a bright red on our skin tone. It kind of has to have a subtle ombre because we are neutral. So here I lined her lips with a Kat Von D retractable lip liner that I had. Then I'm going in with a more cherry red that has like more blue red neutral undertones in it. That's from a lip liner pack on Amazon. The brand is called Italia Deluxe. So I'm using that to go over the first lip liner to kind of blend the two, reinforce the shape a little better, and introduce the true red color that we're going for. You really want to take your time with red because honestly, when you make a mistake with red, trying to remove it and reapply, there's usually a kind of stain action going on. So I'm really, really taking my time with this. And I'm actually bringing that shade a little bit more into the center of the lips. Some brown girls have a invisible lip liner, so I'm actually learning this. I wouldn't say I was the perfect lip applicator my entire experience as a makeup artist, but I am learning. Now we're using the last red and just putting that into the center to give her that pop of hot red that she's going for, and the tone that we're trying to the tone that I'm trying to show her that we would be doing if we did do a red lip on the day of. It looks so good though. You wouldn't know that this was just lip liners. So here she is styling the look. Obviously, for the red lip, we would have to do a more rosy blush or more neutral blush, not pinky. But here I'm just touching up her eyeliner. Just quick final touches. Cover up the top of the lashes where the glue meets. And then I'm adding some mascara to blend her lashes with the falsies. Then to melt all of the powders down, I'm using the NYX spray, the NYX multitasking spray. And I'm just fanning her down with this fan I got from Amazon. And this is the final look with the red lip. She really loved the red lip, but we did discuss that it might be a little tedious to remove and to apply the new lip. So it's on the back burner right now. But what do you guys think? Do you like the red lip? I love how the eyes came out. The base is looking really pretty. Does she look 50? No. This is my mom's baby sister, by the way. Everything just looks perfect, flawless. Maybe the only thing I would do is add a little bit more blush coming towards the apple of her cheek a little bit. Maybe a little extra contour. What do you guys think? But the red lip is giving. Maybe needs a little bit of gloss. She thought the matte would have been better for the first look, and then the second look with the neutral lip would have the gloss. So here we are removing the lip. I'm using the sponge to just take out any color from removing the red. And I'm going in with a brown lip liner to just give her a quick neutral lip to see what's going on, to see how it would look. This brown lip liner is from a beauty supply store in New York. So I'm not really sure if you can get this on Amazon. It's a really cool toned dark brown, and I like using it for darker skin tones to contour the lips and kind of get the shape going before I use lipsticks. Now I'm using the lighter shade of the same pencil to go over that shade and perfect the shape and just blend the two. Then I'm going in with this MAC lipstick in the shade Whirl, I believe. After applying it, I blended out the edges with a small brush. It's a really pretty, peachy, neutral, warm shade. Really taking my time in blending the two. She doesn't really love when the brown lip liner shows on the outer part. So here I'm adding a lighter shade in the center to create a little ombre. She is a 90s girl. That was her little prime. So she was more into those like frosty lipsticks and stuff. So I added that little creamy, light, peachy beige look in the center, almost like concealer lips, but for brown girls. And I'm blending that out, and I'm taking it above to the lip liner to still kind of lighten that lip liner, but it's still like an ombre, if that makes sense. Then I'm taking the second lip liner, the lighter one, and just running it on the edges one more time to ensure that definition is there. And here I'm applying a little bit more in the center because when she looked at it, she wanted it a little bit lighter. So here I am blending the two again. It's a little tedious, but it's worth it. I'm switching up my brush to a little flatter brush to kind of blend everything better. The smaller brush was taking a little too long. And then I'm using the other brush, which had the brown shade color on it from blending the edges, and I'm just taking the excess of that on the edges. I don't know what we were talking about, but like she bust out laughing during the lip, during that tedious lip liner application. Look at us. How did I not cut this part out? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, guys. Look at her checking herself out. Now I'm applying some lip gloss. This is the NYX Butter Gloss, I believe, in the shade Madeline or Eclair. I'll list whatever it is in the description box. We didn't get an end shot after this because we just wanted to hang out and chill. So this is the end look. Thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a comment, like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.